Hey, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Today is the Daily Color episode 95. I am working on the Kelp page, as I call it. I didn't get as much done as I had hoped, but this is where I'm at today. I have grabbed a few more colors. We will finish the Kelp and try to get up to the middle point, and then I picked some colors for the Ginko leaves. I grabbed a couple colors for the shells, and then the fish I think I'm going to leave uncolored, and perhaps I will surprise you guys with what I color them. They are fanciful, not real fish, and everything else I'm coloring has realism colors applied to it, so I have to think on the fish and what I will do with them. So to get started on the kelp, I have greens using the same colors as the last episode. I'm just gonna get in here and get started. Oops, this is the wrong green. That one I have not used. I need the one next to it. So maybe I should erase that little bit of green, because that is not correct. And I could also, I don't know which you guys prefer. Maybe today I will stay out further. Since I zoomed in yesterday and this is a repeat pretty much of the same images. I did start these last two. I just didn't make it very far. Alright, so let's see how well I remember my layering to get our colors. Alright, so we are going for this should be terracotta. I just know it from sanguine because it's shorter. So we're going for our tints and tones of amber to soft, like an olive limey green. And we have wavy kelp. That might be a little dark right there, we'll see. What I do like is these pencils are very forgiving. They erase nicely. I do light layers, and they like light layers, so that makes it very comfortable. Indian, is this India red or India red? Yes. This is the darkest tone. Like the darkest amber going into the very deep, rich color. And now I think I'm ready I don't really have a plan for the fish, since they aren't real fish. I come from the world of realism, and so then you throw some cartoon fish in, and I have to figure out how to deal with that. Okay, let's grab, we'll start with this. Do just a light layer of it, leaving a little bit of white. I'm gonna have to soften that up. I got a little dark on that one. Alright, so that's like our first set of colors down, and then we've got this guy in the background. I kind of ignored this one after doing the green, didn't I? Okay. We are building up our layers. And the one that I was concerned with is right here. A little on the dark side. I should be using my brush. My strokes are somewhat elongated along the length of the kelp, not horizontal. You can see my little texture lines, but this is a very smooth, glossy leaf, and so I'm trying to still impart somewhat smooth, but the colors vary greatly. Oops, I just elbowed the tripod again. This is that India red. I'm trying to get this leaf underneath to have a little more color to it. And this leaf has too much. I do want them all to be different, so. I still have not introduced any yellow. Yep, see, it's very important to make sure that you have all of these subtle tones going on. All right, so that's not bad. I will move on now, even though I just love to fuss. I'm going to grab the greens. They're all needing to be sharpened. So these are the way Polychromos pencils come sharpened, somewhat Prismacolor-esque. So you're going to hear some sharpening. Alright, let's see, I probably did not sharpen them enough. I had one yesterday that did not have a label. I have to fix these while they're out and about. Alright, so these are the Ginko colors. The dark color being the shadow. So it's light green 171, grass green 166, oh, can I read? Leaf green 112, and chrome oxide green 278. Alright, so I am starting with a very light layer of the lightest. I'm paying attention to the little dots. I'm using those dots as highlights. I'm just figuring if it's broken and not solid, that's why there's dots there on the lines, it must mean that there is some sunlight, something shining on it. These actually, the Ginko leaves that I saw, the coloring on them is dark to light, but it is still quite bright. Leaf green is just the perfect color for them. They actually are, even though it looks fluted, they actually are quite smooth. Giving it a little texture, following the little folds. I could really use that sharper. For now, I think that's all I will do. I might smooth out some of this with the lightest color. Now we're going to pop over to the other one. Start it the same way. I am coloring in the direction of the folds and the lines. This isn't the darkest color. I used the darkest on the other one to do the folds, so let's switch to it. I'm at a funny angle for me. This is the middle green again. Again, they are bright, bright green. They do when I saw some photos where the leaves appeared to be dying, and they go to a yellow green on the ends. So that's the ginkgo leaves. Not going to get them too complicated. I do have this very dark green that I'm using for shadows that I am envisioning this going right here on these. The top leaf is a shadow over the bottom on both sides, but I'm not going to color them right now. Yep, so there's some shadow work. I'm going to set these 4 greens to the side because we have 2 pieces of kelp left that I would like to finish up. And then I can see that there's a little more color. I see a little more amber on these. They're like more finished looking. I've spent more time on them, and so let's even them up. It's the art of trying to make things consistently inconsistent so they look more natural and realistic. All right, and I want to work on the coral before I moved back to these 2 sets of, I don't know if they're kelp, but I'm going to color them like they're kelp. All of these. This is an interesting one. I wonder if it goes all the way in the back, so I'll have to figure out the coloring on that. But we can do the little bits of red coral. I did grab my Tan Mit glitter pens and my swatch for them to consider how I want to do the frame, the little filigree frame. Even up all of these red shadows. That's almost big enough to be interesting there. All right, so now let's come back in with the scarlet red. Okay, let's get to work on this different shape of kelp here. I think I have this really dark green. So I might add a little bit of it here. And this side needs to be darker to match the other side. So these are going to be slightly different. Because I think they're a different kelp. I am quiet again. I am concentrating. These leaves back here are a little bit odd. So this is what I'm going to do with them. Okay, that's the start. Okay. Now let's see what happens. We've not used this color of green. This is a darker version of the May green, I think it was. This is earth green yellowish. That really dark green was pine green. 267, yep. I am assuming that this is a sideways view. Well, this is the top view, and this up here, these are the sideways view of the same leaf. And there's some leaf here, and that little bit is going to be blue, and that's blue. Back with the lighter. So this green and the ginkgo green makes this kelp look way more kelp-like to me, which is great. That is a good thing. I was afraid it was not going to be amber enough. I see I messed up. Oh, I did not. That's part of it. Yes. These leaves I am using small circles. Okay, so, oh wait, I'm not done. I have to do these leaves down here. Circles again. All right. I think I want to darken this up. This particular color, what happens with these darks, especially in the greens, I can actually feel the pigment and it's a little bit sticky. It seems to be, it doesn't matter how expensive or inexpensive the pencil is. A lot of these darks have pigment, and so they behave a little differently than the other colors. They literally get a little sticky, and you can hear them. I imagine that the darker pigments are a powder. Even the darker Copic markers have a tendency to have extra material, and the nibs and brush tips get stuff on them that I think is actually part of the pigment. Okay. gonna have to do some work to smooth that back out. But that's better. I needed this color to be darker. In the back. All right. And then we have a few bulbs left for me to finish this half. I do have a seashell. I brought 2 pinkish tones. I have the reds. Gotta soften that up. There, nice. All right, I like how the kelp, to me, is looking very kelpish. All right, so let's get the kelp colors. And here's the 2. I mean, I can do neutral, but I went with pinks, like seashell type pinks, two tones, so that's pretty small. Beige red 132 and cinnamon 189. Okay. I don't think that needs to be extra fancy. I am going to move so that I have this area, which I am just going to make it I mean, clearly this is more decorative than anything, but I think I'm going to stick with the same tones as the kelp bulbs below it. I'm going light here because I want to add some of that, the dark green. I feel it's better if I do both sides at once, then they look more even. And I don't have to do a lot of adjusting. So I have done these two on each side. less as bulbs and more like just seaweed. And I'm inclined to do the seaweed rather than the bulb look on these as well. All right, time, I keep bumping that. Time for the dark green, maybe sharpened. How am I doing for time? I see 34 minutes. These are very small. Okay, time for our amber colors. We've got the terracotta, which is a good one. It is super windy outside. Hey, I found out, I think on Sunday, there was this sound while I was doing the weekly color review of some sort of aircraft. Sounded military. And it was the Blue Angels, which is really funny because back in Washington State, we lived where the Blue Angels would do their thing, and we saw them many times. So that's just so funny that they were here. I don't know, I think of these as curved, so I'm gonna color them in as if they were curved. And this is why using colored pencils to color is very time consuming. All right, we're at 42 minutes. I'm gonna spend a couple more minutes on these. I can darken them. I can put a little yellow and orange. I can pick back up my darker color to make sure we have that deep amber russet color underneath the green. And I did go through, I had some orange that I put on. So I have a few more layers to get the tones correct for what I am after. I did not pick out a color for the border yet. So this is all the time that I will spend with you guys this week, because I have the second half to do, mimicking what this half looks like. I have a border, I have the stickle bubbles all over to do. I'll do that last. I have some fish to color in, but everything else is done. Oh, and then the water to the other side. I am undecided whether I will use gel pen or anything like that. But I just can sit and color away. Well, this was definitely different for me, reminiscent of that moth, but going with realism colors and using the Polychromos was definitely the way to go. I am very much more comfortable using these for attempting some realism in my coloring book. That's not looking too bad. This whole area looks pretty consistent color-wise. Once I put in the water, it will show me what areas need some color adjustments. All right, we are at 45 minutes. I hope you enjoyed that. That was very fun today. I really loved using the polys. Tomorrow, for the daily color, we will do these fish. There are 3 of them. Let's walk through all 3. I always am optimistic that they will go quickly, but you never know. Not with me. So these could be somewhat matching the kelp side, perhaps. They're flowers, so maybe not. And I had said that these are going to be the A of the alphabet for my budget pencils, and I believe it was Amazon Basics, Artex, because it has 2 R's, and Arteza. And I've already done the brand new Artistos 2 pages back, so I will not be hitting those again until we go all the way around and back to the letter A's again. So thank you for joining me today, and join me tomorrow for another coloring day. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you then.